Okay. Okay, we're gonna come back to that. That's a whole nother podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of No Cap Reacts. I'm your man Bailey, aka Mr. Go. Get him! We are back in the building with another episode of Therapy Session. Tonight, I do have a special guest in the building that is pushing a cause that I feel like a lot of people should get behind if you're not already behind it. Should stand by it if you're not already standing by it. She's not just doing things here in Arizona, but she's moving around and making moves all throughout the U.S. Okay? This is a multifaceted situation. This is something that I feel like is going to be more than one podcast because I think there's a lot of things to uncover here. Without further ado,
here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Introduce yourself.
Everybody knows me as Dolly.
All right.
Welcome.
It's Jaynee?
Jaynee.
Jaynee. Like French.
Yes.
Like okay.
French. Oui.
She said we. All right. So, first and foremost, where can they find you at?
So you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. My handle is Regal Divinity. I used to go by Dolly, but Regal Divinity is just a whole new realm of my spiritual journey. So Regal Divinity on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
All right. Where should we start tonight?
Where do you want to start?
We're going to start at the beginning. Okay, first and foremost, just, a little conversation that we've had. I know that you are Arizona native.
Yes, I am.
So, first, that's where we're going to start at. What was it like for you growing up in Arizona?
Ooh. So I was born in Tucson, Arizona, the home of the Wildcats. Bear down. But I was raised in Phoenix. My parents divorced, and I got the pleasure of being able to be in both worlds most of the week in Tucson, the other part of the week in Phoenix. So being here was like, I was just explaining this earlier to somebody about being well-traveled now. Being from Arizona, I feel like, it's so damn hot here, right? The heat can be so disrespectful like we were talking about. But as I've been going through my spiritual path of redemption and awakening, I feel like Arizona's a place of fallen angels. I feel like we are so close to a lot of spiritual and sacred things that we are unaware of. And this place can be really, really harsh due to the weather. It brings out the worst in people, and it can also bring out the most compassionate sides of people as well.
All right. So, as a kid, what are some of the things that you did to have fun in Arizona? And then what are some of the things that you remember going through in Arizona? You're like, oh, hell no, I don't like this.
Man, so the good things of growing up as a kid was just the friends that I would make. I'm a very social person. I was in choir, I was in plays. I loved everything about the music industry, which I kind of grew up around at a young age, even though being from Tucson, there's a lot of musicians. And that was a really happy thing for me, being with my family or, around, my father who was a musician, being able to have jam sessions and just be with other friends who are also musically inclined. We would make music, be a part of theater, play, and stuff like that. So that was what was fun for me. I was also very, very active and outdoors, so tomboyish. I love to rappel and rock climb and build forts and do all that stuff here, that you have in the desert as your backyard. So that was fun growing up for me.
All right. So, like right now, you have what is called the Bet on Me Foundation.
Yes.
What is it that you went through in your childhood that you say could kind of help, that you could look back on and say, okay, this is part of why I'm doing what I'm doing?
So the main drive for why I'm doing what I'm doing as my younger self is just being that person that I didn't have, that I needed. A lot of children go through so much behind closed doors that they have to walk into schools and carry that with them, and people don't know what's really happening. And a lot of that can discourage a child from wanting to learn, can discourage them from even being able to concentrate and be, just be present. It can really contradict them from having any social friends or anything. They're kind of an outcast. I was bullied a lot. I was always the new girl. My bringing up wasn't so stable. So I was almost like the new girl every 6 to 7 months. And it was just really hard to keep up with friends. And so being the person that I needed for myself then to kids now, and encouraging others to be a part of that is just, that big drive.
So, what was it like for you during your high school years?
High school was so real for me. High school was honestly my freshman and sophomore year. I only got to experience that. I never finished school. I had to grow up really early. I had to, at one point help provide for my younger brother and sister and make sure that they made it through school when a parent was being absent from my life, going through what they were going through. I actually went to Independence High School on 75th Ave, and it was a really good thing for me, and probably one of the most positive reasons why I'm here doing what I'm doing, because the friends that I made at that school were the actual friends that stayed with me till today that I still have contact with. And most of them are professional athletes or in some sort of business or entrepreneurship of their own. And so even though I didn't get to finish, I still had them like they were part of my family, still to this day. So high school was in and out. Like I said, I didn't finish. I got caught up in trying to provide for my family, whether that was working at the mall, a job, or an office job. I had 2 or 3 jobs at one point, or getting caught up in the wrong crowd to selling, cannabis and trying to make fast money. It was really hectic for me, though.
All right, your young adult years. Where were you at?
Everywhere.
Where's everywhere?
The I-10, anywhere on the I-10. So I'm formerly known as the I-10 Heffa. I've been almost everywhere. 17 years old. I was on the road to Chicago for my first time being there by myself. Pretty much every state, you name it, I've been to.
Okay. Now, in these travels and hitting these different cities, these different places, what are some of the things that you would say you went through that helped get you to where you're at today?
You know what? That's an amazing question. No one's ever asked me that. I would say just the fact that most of the trips I was by myself. I got to meet a lot of new people of all different walks of life, got to have a lot of good conversations that opened doors to things that I never thought I possibly would have access to. I got to see a lot of things that, like I said, I didn't finish school. So this was a really like learning experience for myself, and anything and anywhere I went was learning for me. So I visited a lot of like museums, sacred places that of maybe certain events at memorial sites that have happened. So I did a lot of research. I before I even go, I would be excited because I've never been anywhere. I'm a girl from Arizona and didn't think I was gonna make it. So being able to go and see these things was just amazing for me. And it built a lot of confidence that I have today to not be afraid to go anywhere and be afraid of the unknown.
So moving forward, we are now in 2025, August. You have quite a few different things going on. Even today, you didn't come from Phoenix. Where'd you come from?
So I came from Tucson today,
Okay. And before you were in Tucson, where were you at?
Chicago.
Okay. So you do quite a bit of traveling.
Yes.
All right. So you're doing all this traveling. You're helping make a difference in people's lives. What is the name of your foundation?
So our foundation is called Soul Point, and has been in operation for about 6 years now. I have been with the foundation for 4 years now, and it's just been really amazing. This foundation is not just here for the photo ops. We're actually here helping people. We've pretty much covered almost every human issue that there possibly is by just being intentional, which some have opened doors and taken off more, that there's more of a higher need in certain states. And that's been able to give me the experience of doing things a certain way than just, on my own, just doing things for people. It's been able to help me leverage relationships of like-minded people who have a really big heart for people. They just maybe don't necessarily have enough time to put in like I do. But, it's taught me a lot of things as far as, building a company, how to deal with certain situations. It can also be very draining too if I'm not, replenishing myself. It can be a heavy burden. Just some of the issues that our nonprofit focuses on can be really, really hard and tragic. So Soul Point has been the foundation for, all the programs that I personally have created and been a part of with my partner.
So this is where we get into the nitty gritty of it. What are some of these things that you help people with and go through?
So the main one is coming from personal experience of justice reform, helping people to get their second chance that really deserve it. It's really hard when you go through life, you made a mistake, or some people have made a few of the same mistakes and they just never had that person or that resource to help them get through it. There's a lot of services out here that will tell you that, hey, we do this and we do that, but when they get there, there's either no funding or just no access, or the people in that position are gatekeeping. And for whatever reason, they don't want you to have that access to those resources that can literally change your life. And that's speaking on personal experiences. So my partner and I, we really focused on how intentional we can be with justice reform by actually, helping people to get their records expunged or sealed. And then once that's done, it's a continuous care. We hold their hand the entire way, making sure that whatever it is that they may have a skill set for or interested in, of a way that can possibly feed them and their families for the rest of their life, we help them get the training that they need, any certifications, and then also an open door to where they can get gainful employment.
Okay, so there's two things that I get out of this. Okay, one, you said personal experience.
Yes.
What experience did you go through? I will say through the system.
So through the system, going away for the war on drugs, for cannabis, which is now legalized in Arizona, it's taken a lot away. There's a lot of systems that are set in place for them to, make capital on when it comes to fees, comes to, you know, social services that are involved, all the court things that they make you do for whether it's anger management, drug, substance abuse classes, you know, a lot of different things, but ultimately they rack up a lot of fines and will take your driver's license away. A lot of it before you can even have access to anything. You have to pay all those fines. And so it's hard for somebody who's coming home who doesn't have a job, doesn't have an ID, doesn't have a social security card or their birth certificate, to even go get their ID, get a job, period. So, like, these are the things that you have to need. So, my experience with that and trying to get the help that I needed, it was very limited. So, those barriers, taking that into consideration is the reason why we push so hard for people and really be there for them and hold their hand through the whole process, because a lot of things that we have that we take for granted, your circumstances change and then you have no access to get around, or you don't have something to get something else. And it's really hard when you can have somebody who can just help you get it done so you can move on with your life.
Okay. Now, what are some of the things that most people go through, or some of the resources that they're missing out on that you help them get access to?
Jobs are the biggest one. Finding employment. It's hard when you have somebody who can do one thing, but the access of availability for employment, it's really hard. I have a lot of good people, like I personally know them because I got to know them through our program. But you'll have an employer who has a vacant role, who needs somebody, but because of the way they look or it doesn't really fit them, they don't want to hire them. And access to gainful employment is so hard these days, just because they're already cutting on hours and stuff like that. But everybody, they judge you. And so even though you have an application process and you have to fill out, have you ever been convicted of a felony, stuff like that, even though you're honest about it, some people take that into consideration and really appreciate that. And they just really want a good employee. And then others purposely do that, because I've had a lot of experiences where from employers to lawyers who don't want to give people their second chance. And so I'd say jobs is the most important one that, myself and our foundation, we really focus on helping getting people those resources.
Okay. Now, you have what's called Bet on You Foundation.
Yes, the Bet on Me Foundation.
Okay. So you said that's personal to you, right?
Very personal.
Okay. The name itself says a lot.
Yes.
All right. What is the Bet on Me Foundation about?
The Bet on Me Foundation is about making sure that children who were brought up in a corrupt system, who were wrongfully taken from their families, didn't get a chance to even go with other family members and were adopted right out. This is a foundation for reunification for parents who deserve a second chance, and, letting these kids know that all along when they were fighting a corrupt system, they were loved, and they don't believe the lies that were told to them, that no one looked for them, no one cared for them.
So I got to pause you right there. What are some of these lies?
So some of the lies are basically like myself. I didn't do drugs. I was never a person on substance abuse. I sold cannabis and I got arrested for that. And so normally when you're speaking with like services from DCS, child services, they have a protocol and a policy that they have to follow for placing those children into care of family before they're just get placed in the care of strangers. And in 2008 all the way till I want to say 2015, specifically in Maricopa County, there was a lot of cases that were unjustly, just ripped away from their families and not placed with family members who could have them.
Now, I've been doing my research Because anytime I'm interviewing somebody, I need to know what goes on. So it seems a lot of children are ripped away from a lot of families here in Maricopa County. And a lot of the things that the parents are accused of are what we call trumped up charges.
Yeah.
There is no evidence of said charge. Charge actually never makes it to conviction,
Yeah.
but kids are misplaced. Part two of that, which goes into a whole totally different segment or different process, is I've seen the multiple times that Arizona has been sued under the child support laws because they also use or take child support because of whether people know it or not. That is the probably the biggest retirement fund that could ever happen for judges and
Yes.
law clerks, etc. It actually funds more retirements than anything else in the court system. How do you combat situations like that, or how do you help and or assist?
So now it's come to the point where my case is a little complex, just because of the said persons who did arrest me and convict me of these crimes, with the war on cannabis, and it's a process. What we have to build in this foundation for Bet on Me is just legal assistance. A lot of this stuff can be self-done, but you are not going to get anywhere. So we need funding for the attorneys to do processing fees. Like, you're going to be so in debt and not know where you're going to get this money from. And it's hard to fight for your children when it's just one fee after another.
When the system is literally set up to be against you.
Exactly.
And what they're really looking for is a payday. Because again, this is the biggest financial institution that there is out here.
Yes.
They make more money by charging you more fees for things that honestly should really be free to us, which is why so many lawsuits come, because it's really unconstitutional.
Most definitely. And and if you don't know your rights, Arizona's one of the biggest states for self-service. But once you go into court, I've had judges, I've done my research, I've studied the terminology. So, in the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. I just was so defensive and trying to fight for what is right, first of all, and what was the truth and what was really going on. And everything, my passion for my children and fighting for my life and for their life was turned into I'm angry, I'm, unstable. And it's just like, how could you say these things about me? This is my children, to where you're not a lawyer. So you're basically being a disrespect to the court because you really need a lawyer to speak for you because you're just too combative. And it's just really crazy knowing that Arizona is a self-service state and certain things should be free. Some things are free. And then you'll have attorneys who just prey on women who will do anything for their children, like myself, and they'll leak your bank account dry. And they're not going to get you anywhere. And certain things that have been happening is you'll have public defenders, you'll have paid attorneys, and then you'll have referrals. And depending on who the prosecutor is, who state's attorney general is, who the judge is, who the prison owner is, you have detectives who are married to judges, you have detectives who are married to wardens. You don't even know who's running this whole scam against our communities and our families when it comes to DCS and taking children away. They all benefit from it and they work together. I know a lot of public defenders who make their clients take pleas, even though they didn't do anything wrong, just so that way they can get paid and make those detectives and those judges and those state's attorneys, rich.
So what is the primary goal of your foundation?
The primary goal of my foundation is to create a space that is going to have all the resources for counseling. It's going to have resources for mental health. It's going to have the resources for people who just feel like they're not understood, that have gone through this, and legal help, not just financially, but a team who is willing to go and fight these hard cases, people who have the backbone and integrity to go up against this corrupted system. This facility is also going to be focused a lot on mental toughness and in training with sports, so therapy, making sure that these kids, and if you find certain statistics here in Arizona, a lot of kids that grow up in foster care homes or have been adopted, most of them focus their, tensions and anger being involved in sports or in music. And a lot of these guys, have either dyslexia or other issues that other children may not have if they had the home that had all that support. But being a child growing up with wanting to always know who your parents was, why did they not want me? Because they're told that they weren't wanted or whatever lie, the adoptive parents or the foster cares tell them. This is a place where they can reunify with the parents, do counseling, also heal and heal a lot of that trauma that they went through and show them that they can have a future that's going to be successful, full of love and support.
So let's say I am 19-year-old Henry. I found your foundation. I come to you. I'm asking for help. What's the process?
So the process is to do an intake. If you're looking for your parent, you're going to do an intake. We'll get most of the information we need. We have private investigators here in Maricopa that can do the best job in locating the parents within getting DCS records to just pretty much any records. If we know, who the parents are, we can figure that out. Then also, getting in contact with them and seeing if there's a possibility, what's the story here? Is there a possibility for reunification? Another thing is that maybe they may need a job, they may need help, they're trying to go through college or something. We also will see what they need help with in life right now as well, other than just the reunification with their parents.
So how many parents have been found?
We have not done that yet. So the first one actually is really myself. And so it's been a process, but I know it works because the person that I've been working with here in Phoenix, they have been keeping track of my sons for the past 15 years to where now there is a open window to where they know who I am. They are very curious about me. It's kind of hard process because they were adopted right out, and as being a minor still, they have to, they don't have very much access when it comes to internet things. And so the process right now is, do you want to reunify? Are you wanting to know the legal process of that, just with even trying to get in contact with the adoptive parent and seeing if that's something that's able to happen before they're 18 years old, is a process as well. And so I'm basically the first case. I have 3 other cases that are trying to do the same thing right now. And therefore, as far as finding we haven't done the parents, it was finding the children. We have done that. And that took about, I want to say, the longest one is going to be about 2 years.
All right. Is there a cost associated with this process?
There is no cost associated to this. So the costs are being taken care of with sponsorships and donations and pro bono work.
So up front, if someone is looking to find someone, their parent, or looking for help, where can they find you at?
They can find us at the betonmefoundation.org and soulpoint.org.
Okay. Now, a lot of this is fueled by your own personal situations, outcomes, and interests.
Yes.
Okay. So I can understand that being very mentally wavering for you.
Most definitely.
Okay. What is your ultimate outcome in the situation for yourself?
Reunification. I've made myself very public for being in the music industry, the entertainment industry, and just in the community period, to where they know that their mother's there. And I think that's why it was so easily for my own son to find me on the social media platforms, because that's how it happened. I've always been able to get, updates from the PI, but never, where I was so accessible that he was able just to find me and, he was looking for me. So even before the separation, just having a vague memory right now to tell you, I did a lot that wasn't done with my childhood to make sure that my kids knew who I was. And so I think because I did that, it was easy for them to find me on social media, and what in their way try to communicate with me, but still have a distance to where I understand like the adoptive parents don't want that. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, which the truth is will come out of what they told them here soon. But at the end of the day, reunification and building a foundation that is going to support my sons to make it to the finish line, just like other children's parents wish for them.
Currently, how big would you say your team is?
Right now, I'd say our team for the Bet on Me Foundation specifically is about 7 internal, but the other resources that we work with the law firms, the private investigators, prosecutors, DCS caseworkers, I'd say we're pretty strong, a little over maybe like 27 to 30 people.
Okay, that's good.
And it keeps growing. We just got blessed with 2 amazing people who is a staple here in Phoenix, Arizona for the owners of Long Wongs and Los Cuatros Nietos. Elizabeth and Albert are newest board members that are taking on a few initiatives for the children.
All right. So, if there was a message, if there was something that you wanted everyone to know, everyone to hear, something that they wouldn't typically get in, just searching you out, what would that message be?
The message I would want everyone to know, no matter what industry or human issue there is Bet on Me is so powerful because we go through phases in our life where you're trying to do the right thing, you're trying to come up, you're trying to excel in life, and you're never going to get there by pleasing others and by living others' lives or comparing yourself. You really have to zone in on yourself and bet all on yourself. Whatever you put into it, as the laws of power and laws of attraction would have, is that you're going to get what you put into it. And that could mean you're on a budget, right? Oh, I really can't do this. I got to pay for this, this, and this. But having your faith in God and faith in yourself is, to me, the same thing. And as long as you know that you have a goal, you have to put your all into it no matter what you have. And that's what you're going to get back. Bet all on yourself. It's like when you go to the casino, you max bet, and that reward is going to be there. Take a chance on yourself because no one else will.
Okay, so when I hear terms like bet on me, that means that the chips are stacked up against you.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. What is stacked up against you to where you have a chip big enough to say, fuck everybody, bet on me, I got this, we're going to do this? Where'd that come from? What's that stem from?
That stem comes from always being a creator. I've built up so many things in my life of companies to where it was always successful. I'm great at structuring things, and the problem is there was no ownership. And therefore, I built something up that I really believed in, but it was ripped away from me because I didn't know that part. I had the work ethic. And so bet on me with the chips against me. I have that confidence, and I call it Godfidence, because when you do the work and you show up, it's going to happen. Bet on yourself. Like, no one else is going to do it. If you have a vision, people are going to say you're crazy. Where do you have time for that? How do you think you're going to get these people to do this and do that? But if you know that there's a problem out there, this world is too big for you to pity yourself and think that you're the only person in this world who are going through issues in life, and you have nothing to lose. And when you put all that on yourself and you get, even start with small victories, finish the first thing. And that was, one thing I had to learn. That came from having beat cancer. I didn't get to do chemotherapy because that was going to cause other issues. And I had to beat it holistically. And going through something like that taught me a lot about myself and also, helped me through mental toughness to go through what I'm going through. Like, you would never believe how many people I thought were there for me, and I never have heard from them ever again because I wasn't serving their purpose anymore. So once I realized that, I had nothing to lose.
Now, moving forward, right? Let's say things don't technically work out in your favor in your own personal situation, right? How does that affect you moving forward and helping others out?
It doesn't, because what's for me is for me, and but what's for others, and if I can be that person to help them to reach their outcome, I'm definitely going to do that because it comes from a place of knowing what that pain feels like, that empty void.
Perfect. Now, on the outside looking in, right? We know what a lot of people have a lot of stigmas for non-for-profits. They have a lot of stigmas for the owners of non-for-profits, etc. Okay? Non-for-profits is, whether we like it or not, you're always doing a service to other people. What would you say makes you stand out from other businesses?
We get shit done. We don't take no for an answer. If somebody tells us no, we're talking to the wrong person. This foundation is built on the understanding that no matter what barriers are there, we're here to figure it out. And there's ways around it, or there's new structures that need to be built for that to happen. And so that's why they always say a nonprofit's work is never done, because there really is a lot that goes into this that's built up from generations and generations of corrupt systems or to no systems at all. And that's really what it's about. So we separate ourselves because we actually get stuff done. And we do it from our board members and our volunteers with in-kind donations or just pro bono, and everybody putting in. This is a real community effort, and it's intentional. It's not a photo op. I'll post things here and there, but like today, I didn't post anything because this is me on Wednesday, and this is going to be me on next Wednesday as well.
All right. Now, what does your support team look like right now in life?
Man, it's beautiful. It's small, and it's intentional. It's focused on where we need to go. It's focused on the steps that takes. It's focused on the space to have the encouragement and the support that we need to learn to get things done. The support looks like, my partner, Juan, Albert, Elizabeth, Bible, Dr. Tyrenzi Wilson, and a lot of other people. But it looks like the support looks like they have their own lane and they're driving their car, and we're all taking what needs to be done. So we all bring something to the table, and it just feels light.
All right. Now, on the opposite side of that, right? What does Dolly like to do in her spare time?
In my spare time, I love nature. I love traveling. I love going and trying new food. I love music. So I like writing. I like playing the guitar, doing a lot of crafts. I'm always making something. I know how to crochet. So anything that has something that I can make something for somebody that I love and personalize something, I love doing that. I like going out to eat with my friends and catching up with certain individuals. It's weird for me to say that because a lot of my friends are not in my town that I'm in ever. They all live in their own state. So when we get to catch up, it's kind of like a big thing. So if I'm not working, which is mostly all the time, You know, me and Juan will go to movies, we'll go check out new places, experiences. In Chicago, they have a lot of speakeasies and pop ups. Arizona, they have a lot of restaurants. And so, you know, we like to go and find places that match our personality where we can go and feel good and just have a good time, listen to some live music.
Juan is currently off camera right now. But there is there's an interview coming real soon. I'm booking that, but the night before you get out of here. That is a whole nother situation. I think there's going to be a third one because I need you both together to speak on the things that you guys have created together. Okay. Um, what would you say is the purpose behind what you're doing?
This world is already hard. I've been in a lot of political campaigns to see both parties and their goal to divide us as people. Um, there's not enough people with compassion and grace, and maybe rightfully so, but I'm the person who loves to make things better. I'm a creator, like I said. I want to set the ambience of people to feel good and have good memories. Growing up, I didn't really have memories I could keep. So I always felt like I didn't know where I came from or I couldn't hold on to things because of how unstable my growing up was. So, you know, going forward, it's like I've spread glitter everywhere. You know what I mean? I want it to be beautiful. I want it to be shiny. I want it to feel good. I want people to have a lasting memory that they can take with them. And that's all we have is that. And a lot of time is wasted on not being able to actually live your life. A lot of people are just born to die, and that's not me.
So there's going to be a lot of people that are going to see this. Um, this could be because I have done multiple interviews of business owners, new businesses, clothing lines, food chains, etc. If they want to join your cause, what do they need to do? How do they need to contact you? What is the plan?
Yeah, so they can go to our website, soulpoint.org or the betonmefoundation.org. And it's the betonmefoundation at gmail.com. That's the easiest way. Or our Instagram, it's all the same. But basically, anyone is welcome. We don't just place people where we really need them. We place people where their heart is called for their mission in their life. We want people to be able to relate and work with people who can relate to them and understand that that their help is actually going somewhere intentional. So from teachers, you know, right now we have the No Student Left Behind initiative, and this is something that no one's ever done. Instead of just doing backpack drives once, you know, a month out of the whole year, we've decided that we're going to sponsor every single school in Arizona, starting from Arizona to Chicago. But Arizona is our first mission right now. We're going to every school. Right now, we're in the first district, and we're taking the teachers' student list, and we're personalizing things, and we're making sure every student, you know, gets what they need as well as the care package for the teacher. So people, you know, want to donate. Some people want to volunteer their time to come and help us actually pass out those things. So anything that has to do with children, you know, they can contact us, or if they just want to sponsor or donate, they're more than welcome to. But they can find us at the betonmefoundation.org, the betonmefoundation at gmail.com, or 520-303-2701.
And where can they find you at again?
The Bet on Me Foundation on Instagram or Facebook, or Regal Divinity.
All right, so this is the chance where I say you take the time to let them know something that they probably wouldn't get from you anywhere else.
This is actually pretty exclusive in itself because I haven't come out about my story yet. But what you wouldn't get anywhere else is I've talked to a lot of people, and some people are like, I didn't know you were that, you know, in depth. I'm usually behind the scenes, but this year I'm coming out more, and I'm easy to talk to. I've heard that, oh, it's people think you're intimidating or whatever, but I'm actually a really cool, down to earth person. I'm easy to talk to, but I'm also very focused on the mission and what I have going on. Obviously, it's personal driven, but I'm really down to earth and I'm open for a lot of different ideas. I want to work with people in the foundation and I want them to come knowing that if they have a need and an idea for, whatever it is that they want to do to help people, I'm open to that and I'm all about bringing visions to life.
What do you think of the podcast?
I love it. I think it's a great place to just be yourself and share what you have going on and not just be, I don't like to be put in a box. I don't like to be, oh, let's just only talk about this topic. There's so many elements to me that a lot of people wouldn't know, like being, in different industries and whatnot. But basically, at the end of the day, I'm a networker and I work with a lot of different walks of life just because human issues don't have, one stereotyped person. So I'm very open. And I think that this podcast brings really mix of diversity and human issues.
What aspect of music were you involved in?
So R&B, hip hop, but myself, indie R&B.
How long did you do that for?
Forever, still now.
So I used to do music. I was signed to Sony from 2006, really to like 2010, because from like 2010 to 2012, I had a distribution deal with Universal. But by that time, I was so done with music. The industry itself is hell.
It is.
Is the devil.
Most definitely.
The things that I see going on with Diddy it's not even the tip of the iceberg.
Not even.
And it happens with execs and A&Rs and
it's rough.
it is rough. And if you don't know what you're doing, you'll get taken advantage of.
Most definitely.
And I was one of those people. You can't take advantage of me. I don't play those games. And they didn't like it too much.
I bet.
So, I'm a master networker. That's what I did. Then I went into business with he was then my manager and now my business partner, where we book pretty much every music artist, every athlete, every entertainer, actor in the industry. So if you ever need anybody, do a cameo, pop up, I'm definitely the go-to.
Awesome.
I can call in a lot of favors because a lot of people owe me. The music industry itself could create its own non-for-profit
for starving artists.
Yes, starving artists, fucked over artists.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The music industry can get you PTSD in the worst way.
Man.
So, just you saying you going through the music industry says a lot.
Yeah. It was a hard path.
Still being a part of the music industry also says a lot. I personally love people being out of my business. It was like 2010, 2011 when TMZ really started.
Yeah.
I was dating a reality TV star girl. They decided to jump out on us. It was bad. It was just bad. It wasn't good. So
it's not fun when people are in your business or try to. It's not even that. It's when they try to distort it for their own gain. You know what I mean?
Correct. And the thing about it's not that I do anything because I'm probably. Here's the thing. I've been boring my entire life. From being the guy in high school who was like the star player but didn't go to no parties. Same thing, college, but didn't go to no parties. Getting locked up. And then, for anybody that knows, when you get locked up, it's one of two things. You're either loved or you're hated. And I was one of those people, let's just say I wasn't hated. Or the ones that did hate me, well, they had a reason to hate me because they came in some bullshit and it didn't work out in their favor. Outside of that, for me, it wasn't what I know I see a lot of other people go through. But that's because growing up in the hood, you learn how to navigate things a little bit differently. You know how to navigate people differently. You know how to stay out of certain situations. I see situations in life right now where a lot of these younger guys, they just fall prey to so many different things. And it's just because they don't pay attention. They're just not paying attention. And that's why I say this within itself could become a whole totally different company within itself, because you could literally teach people that you obviously need to understand what you're getting yourself into, where you're getting yourself into. One of the biggest things that's being sold all over the country right now to the youth is that, being hood, being a thug, being real is like the thing to do. But you got to understand, for those of us that are hood, thug, and real, we end up locked up or dead. So we know the difference between those that are and those that aren't.
There's no path.
That will go into Juan's foundation. And removing things off of people's records, because we just make mistakes. When you're young, when you're in the hood, you make mistakes. Whether you're a single mom or you're a single dad and your back gets put against the wall, you make mistakes, because you have to put food on the table. You have to pay bills. You have to do things that at the end, no one else is going to do for you. Right. And some of those things that you have to do are really inevitably, they are mistakes. They are bad decisions. They are stupid choices. But you don't feel like that when you're in the moment. And then what happens is you come out, clearly you're on that side of it now, where you're trying to fix some of the mistakes that you made. And a lot of people are going to end up in that situation. So it's nice to see and hear that there are people out here helping other people after the mistake is made. But if you can add it in anyway, education, so you don't end up in the situation, will probably be one of the biggest things that I would say could help.
Testimonies.
So, super kudos to you and your team.
Thank you.
I had no idea who you were. So I literally get on Instagram and Facebook and just look for it to say entrepreneur or owner of, etc. And I send my friend request. And then as you see, the first question is, have you ever been on a podcast?
Right.
I know some people, it probably takes them by, they think it's different. They think it's going to be a different conversation at the end of the day. But I'm about as professional can get. I appreciate you actually taking the time to, one, open, respond, and show up. Even when I was late, which never fucking happens.
It's okay. Honestly, it was almost like divine timing, because I got it. The message was like, wait a minute. Okay. Is he asking what I think he's asking? And I was like, you know what? I had just told the team, like, we just did the press release because it was my son's birthday. And it's his 17th birthday, and it was also the day of 777. And so it was really spiritual, but it was also, just having that insight of the PI and knowing what he's going through in his life, and then what he's been allowing to share with me from his social medias and stuff like that. It just seemed like the right time. We have the support. The time is now. There's never going to be the right time. And so it was really personal. And I was like, I need you, God, to open doors for people who have following. Somewhere, people know somebody who can either help or who needs help. And that's kind of how this works. That's how the community works. One hand washes the other. And we appreciate it, and we're here to uplift one another. So I really appreciate you for inviting me on. I know you get tons of stories in different walks of life, but just being able to come on here and share my story and what's going on as the start is everything to me, and I won't forget this interview.
Well, you're coming back.
Yes.
Hey, this is this is the tip of the iceberg. This is the first conversation. All right. There's going to be more conversations. I'm going to get a little bit more in depth. We'll probably ask more questions, probably dig a little deeper, right? Also in the process, obviously you're really just getting this up and going.
Yes.
So
This is where we need all the help we can get.
exactly. On average, between all the platforms, about 300 people, 300,000 a month. Okay. And then this is where I say to my network of people, if you can contribute to anything in this situation, in this cause, don't be a bitch. Reach out. Okay. Whether you come to me and I'll get you in touch with her, or if you want to get in touch with her directly at
Regal Divinity or the Bet on Me Foundation or Soul Point.
go ahead and do it. I have far too many multimillionaires around me for you guys not to do nothing. Plus, it's a tax write-off. We all know this. So don't
Most
be
definitely.
a bitch. 2, not all of us come from the greatest situations in the world. So I know a lot of this is going to hit home with a lot of different people. And that's where, you got to kind of get over yourself a little bit too and allow yourself to feel something and be able to help somebody get out of the exact same situation that you yourself may have gone through. And the only way to do that is to help somebody else, lend them a hand. Do you have anything set up where people can just donate?
Yes, definitely. So we do have a Cash App. We have the Zelle. We have a professional, obviously, bank account for the nonprofit organization under Soul Point. And the Bet on Me Foundation, it's just Bet on Me Foundation for Cash App. And then also, like I said, we accept checks and in-kind donations. We prefer in-kind donations because it's more intentional. But you'll see in this next month, we're getting ready to have our first board meeting. One thing I will say is that if you do donate, everything is a public audit. And that is everything that everyone will be able to see. They'll see how much money we have in our bank account because it's going to be posted every month. And we also are going to be live in our board meetings about the topics that we're discussing and organizing to do. So this is going to be completely community driven. So everything's going to be completely, fully transparent when it comes to donations in kind or financial.
Well, I want to say thank you for showing up tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
To my off-camera guest, who'll be on camera soon. Appreciate you. We'll definitely have you back, and we'll be talking here in a moment. Everybody else that is watching this, that's tuned in to this tonight, and then tunes in after the fact, again. She's given all of her handles. I'll make sure to go ahead and put everything in the description here on the show. Whether you're donating your time, donating your service, or donating your money, make sure you do so. Help somebody else out that may be in need. And if you yourself have gone through the exact same situation and you have been looking for a way or a reason to give, you now have one. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Therapy Session here at No Cap Reacts. I'm your man Bailey, a.k.a. Actually, let them know where they can find you at again.
Regal Divinity.
Mr. Go Get 'em!